Hello and welcome to a new devlog. The last time we finished the basic customer mechanics, but we are still missing some features from the minimum viable product list of episode 1, so we are going to tackle those today. We will start by adding the gain currencies. So first I'm going to add the gold and renown resource counters to the UI. And we don't care about how it looks for now. All the UI elements are still graphically placeholders, so simple labels will be enough. Let's put them in place and add a default text. And now we can start adding the setters and getters for the resources. So in the globals, we need to add the value here and add the usual set and get functions. I can't for the life of me remember the syntax for setters and getters, so I always have an editor file on my desktop having them ready for copy and paste. It's actually kinda sad. Now let's not forget to update the labels here too, but first we need to add them as exports once again. I don't know why people still use magic strings over exports. It's such a neat, headache-free feature. I mean, eventually the list of exports at the inspector becomes huge for large scenes, but since you can write custom documentation and categories for all of them, it's just a matter of organizing them properly. Which I didn't do yet, but I might be doing it in the future. Honestly, at some point I might want to go back and add comments to everything. I'm such a little chaos goblin when it comes to documentation. It's really bad. I have a tendency to add summary comments here and there for long conditional branches, but I absolutely skip the part where I'm supposed to document what each function does. Okay, testing. And the descriptors are missing. God damn it. I mean, we will replace them with a proper icon at some point, but for now, let's do this. And now it should display properly. And yeah, okay. Okay, so now that we have the resources implemented, we also want to display the current time of day and the date. The time of day will be the customer phase, so this one needs to have two values, as it needs to show the current phase and how many are expected on this day. So let's update the visuals in the same way we did for the money and renown, using setters and getters, and copy and paste. And we need another export here. And for the face, we should actually split it up into two different labels for formatting reasons and also because it's easier to edit then. Maybe we should organize all of them into a single control node. And we also need to export the face counter and the max face counter. And back in the globals, we add more setters and getters. Yes, I know, pretty repetitive content today, but bear with me, it will be worth it once it's done. Let's change the variable names here and then we can do a test run. Alright, Here we go. This worked well, but now that I've seen it in practice, I want to change one more thing, because I think it would be cool to have the first phase of the day empty, as in no customers, just to break it up a bit. And since we need to +1 the counter anyway, we might want to use this as the 0 phase. This should be less than and not less or equal. And also we need to remove the initial batch of customers. And now we can test it. And here we are. Initial phase, no customers. And then 3 batches of customers with the right numbering. And once we progress to the next day, we get no customers again. Great. What I want to do next is to display a summary screen once the day is finished, which should be easy because I can just use the event queue system. In the future, I will potentially make a custom screen for that, but for now we will just use the regular pop-up window with a different text. So let's try this out. And yes, it's working. Oh well, this event queue system will be so useful in the future. It's just so easy to implement new stuff with confirmations this way. Okay, so the last thing we want to do today is adding a customer template class. And if you go back to my initial first devlog video, you will notice that there was a bullet point talking about different types of customers. And this is what this is for. This template will hold references to functions and also to percentages for different outcomes of the customer serving process. And I can also use these templates later on to add special events and conditions and stuff. For now, this template will mostly be empty, but we prepare it to be ready for when we design the actual stats, etc. And then this will become relevant. So let's remove it from the scene tree and add it to the customer class as a property. And we also want each customer to require a template when created. As you can see down here, I created a new folder, and this one will hold all the customer templates that I want to make editable with exports. So I will change the variable here to an export. And then I will create some inherited scenes from this template to fill the folder with a few test templates. For testing purposes, I created just 2 of them, a regular and a wealthy customer, and now we can set the export type string individually. And because they are inherited from the same base object, if I now add properties to the base object, the property will also show up in the inherited objects. So all we got to do now is create a simple global array holding the references to the individual customer templates for loading, just like we did with all our instantiated scenes. And I could theoretically automatically load all scenes from the folder, but for safety reasons, I think it's better not to. But we also need to instantiate them, so Since templates only need to be created once, we do a little trickery here and instantiate them right in the array. But that obviously requires to change the variable type to node. And here we go. And yes, this actually works. So we can now go to the GameState script and finally fix the error here and pass a randomly selected customer template. And if we now open up the customer element scene and add an export for the customer label, we can now finally make that placeholder text display something meaningful. So yay for that! So let's update the label text on the ready function. And if we now test the game, we will notice that everything is working flawlessly and the customer type is properly displayed. And we did a lot of work today. Believe it or not, recording all this took me almost 8 hours, because near the end I encountered a stupid bug that I wasted almost 2 hours in fixing. But after that I had to re-record some parts because the code had changed and, well, that's actually a big downside of the devlog format. It slows down your progress by a lot. But either way, I hope you enjoyed this. I'm gonna go make dinner now, and see you again next time. Doodles!